Madam Vice Mayor, you're up.
Welcome. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the State of the Village address tonight. I was asked to introduce our mayor, Joe Corradino, and so I will point out, if you go to the village's website and you look at his biography, it will tell you he has a BA from Villanova, that he has a master's degree in urban planning, he's a certified urban planner. He served on the village's zoning board for 4 years. He served 2 terms on the village council from 2006 to 2014. All of these things are true. What it will not tell you is that he is kind, caring, funny, organized, responsive, responsible, an absolute joy to work with. So I know that the mayor believes very much that the State of the Village address needs to be about the village and not about the mayor. And so I know that he will use the word I very infrequently in his comments tonight. But I will encourage all of you to take a moment to approach him perhaps at the end of the event and sincerely thank him for many, many years of service to this village. So with no further ado, I would like to the Honorable Joseph Corradino, Mayor of the Village.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was very kind and embarrassing, but I'll take it. Thank you and welcome here. We've taken a less formal approach at these things in recent years because I think these are nice ways to get together, have a little bit of a cocktail hour, have our friends that are really concerned about how the village operates come in, talk about what we've done, talk about what we're going to do, and get on with business. So let me say that the state of the village continues to be as strong as ever. And that is so because as citizens, we have always seemed to be engaged, thoughtful, and diligent about the issues that we've tried to approach. We've recognized early on, they said we couldn't be successful. We recognized early on that we would need to stay involved. We would need to invest our time in administering to this government. And in the process, we hired some of the best staff we could possibly hire to do this job with us. So as citizens, elected officials, and staff, we've managed over the years to stay focused on our mission. And what we've done is ultimately be able to enhance our character and our quality of life every year. And sometimes in Pinecrest, I think that we take this for granted, but we shouldn't. It doesn't have to be this way, and it's not in a lot of places. If you look around us at every level of government, a lack of civility, a lack of effectiveness, bickering, sometimes they can't seem to get the essential aspects of government done. But here we have done it different over the years. We strive to provide a hard-working, thoughtful, reasonable, rational approach to local government. You know, these are cities or places where we all have to come together to provide for the common good. To be successful, like all entities, you have to be able to adapt and change. The hard part about local government is really understanding all those issues that you've got to think about and when to adapt and change in the right place. And success isn't always guaranteed. Our primary responsibilities here in Pinecrest, that when we took it over from the county, administer our land use, police force, parks, public facilities. We still have a lot of responsibilities left with Miami-Dade County, and we do pay them a lot of money to deal with that. Running a good government isn't merely about providing these services at a low tax rate. It's a lot more than that. And in Pinecrest, we seem to do it by contributing something positive to our community, tackling the tough issues that happen within our village, even though those conversations are very difficult. And like in corporation, we've seemed to take on issues that happen to us from outside our community that may not necessarily be our responsibility. We work diligently, we work collaboratively, constructively, and strongly with the other levels of government that we have to, and we try to provide a higher level of cultural commitment. The result in doing this over time, I've found, and Pinecrest is a great example of it, is that our values and our quality of life have been increasing for our citizens over time. So if you look at our numbers in our annual report, we're thriving. But I think that running a highly functional community like ours, a village like ours, is more than about the numbers. What we've done for over 20 years is more about attitude. So each year, our staff and our elected officials, we come to work and try to be the best we can be for our community. Right? We're really mindful of who we are as a village, what our likes are and what our dislikes are. We create innovative ways to approach our problems. We set challenging goals, those goals that not one person could accomplish, but take teams of people. And finally, I think the ingredient that I've learned over the years of working with our staff that makes it all work is that every person in every department does their jobs with respect, love, compassion, not only for the village of Pinecrest, but for our mission and the people that we serve. As a result, you see it every day. Our property values are very high. Our taxes are very low. Financially, we have a AAA bond rating. Our reserves exceed the amount we're supposed to have. Our budget is lean, focuses on maximizing dollars with a small but dedicated staff. We've protected ourselves against possible economic downturn. We're one of the safest communities in all of Florida. I was talking with Chief Ceballos yesterday. We're talking about the crime rate and whether, by the way, the crime rate is the lowest it's been in years, if not ever. I know that has a lot to do with luck and economy and all those things. We're talking about whether the Pinecrest experience was a success or not. Obviously, it's successful. He was telling me that crime today is basically half of what it was before we incorporated. So it's been on a downward trend for many years, and that's great. Our staff our police force is fully staffed. We've got a workload that enables them to interact with our citizens in a way that we call community policing. That means they can interact personally, one-on-one with the citizens should they need to. It's one of the most well-compensated forces. Our response time is a matter of minutes. We've double accreditation, more Crime Watch neighborhoods set up than ever. And as always, we remain committed to providing the police with absolutely everything they need and the resources to continue to fight crime the way they've been doing it. And person for person, you couldn't find a finer group of people. Hopefully we don't need you like other communities have, but if we do, we know you'll be there, and that's very securing for all of us in Pinecrest. Other departments, we strictly, fairly, and consistently enforce all of our codes. We process thousands of permits and inspections every year. Not only that, but we diligently review our codes to make sure that they're responsive to the changing needs in the community. I want to thank Councilmember Kraft. He's been helpful in working with Mr. Olmsted, Mr. Llanos, and Mr. Spanoli as we've looked and reviewed our codes over the years, and that's been a great benefit to us. Our streets, our public rights-of-way are neat and clean, offering a kind of unique Pinecrest look that attracts many people. Our parks are first-rate. They offer passive and active opportunities for not only people in Pinecrest, but people across Miami-Dade County. And our cultural commitment, Alana, is second to none in this community and unwavering. So we're working on that. We administer internally to our departments in a way that's efficient and effective, so we can reach out to as many people as possible. And we're focused on what I call a concierge level of service. What that means is that when our citizens have a need, we're able to reach out to them individually, in person, at every level of government, so that we can find them the most effective solution possible for their problem. And over the last year, there have been many examples of this attitude in process. We've been around for more than 20 years. A lot of the formative work, if not all of the formative work, has been done. And we are focused on looking to the future. We need to do this together. Last year, we did our Inspire Pinecrest campaign. The manager put that together. It was one of the most well-attended local government work sessions that I think I've ever seen in my years of doing this. We're not only very happy with the turnout, but the positive tenor of the conversation. We talked about a multiple of issues and many topics. Those results of that organization are going to be the foundation for how we move forward in the coming years. Recently, we just partially replaced one of our recent bonds to undertake nearly 40 different projects that came out of that exercise. This year, we completed our first transportation master plan, and we'll be providing a lot of multimodal opportunities for the community. Our new freebie service that just started recently is dramatically exceeding expectations. I wanted to thank Councilmember McDonald. Councilmember McDonald's been spearheading our transportation initiatives with Miami-Dade County. He focused intensely on how they were going to be doing rapid transit in South Dade, and he is the chairman of the Transportation Committee for the National League of Cities. So thank you very much. That's great leadership on our behalf throughout not only Miami-Dade County, but the nation. We were able to complete this room, Cypress Hall. Many of us have been around for a while. We remember when this was the cafe at Parrot Jungle, right? And this place has been out of commission for over a decade. It's not, I think it was Hurricane Wilma that took it out and basically sat here for 12 to 13 years without being fixed. This represents one of our most historic, iconic areas, not only here in Pinecrest, but in all of South Dade. And as you can see, the interior of it doesn't look like a typical government building. Thanks to the manager. You must have gotten a degree in interior decorating. It's absolutely fabulous. Just across the parking lot, we've been able to build on the success that we've already had at the community center, an extra 7,000 square feet of space for gymnasium, classrooms, and outdoor activities, a real community gathering place. We've discussed for 2 decades having a restaurant or food service in the area. Now we have 2 places that begin to fulfill that niche, one over there and one over here. That's a real coup for us, and we're very proud of it. Of course, with both these facilities, we're highly cognizant that they need to fit into the surrounding neighborhoods as seamlessly as possible. Right, Barbara? I know you've got soccer field, tennis field, all types of stuff going on. I know, because I haven't heard from you in a long time. We must not be the season yet.
No complaints.
Right, no complaints yet, but we're working on it. We're never going to stop being focused on that goal. We understand that it's absolutely critical if this facility is going to be working. We've been talking about a dog park for years. That's been difficult and controversial. We've got money in our budget this year for a dog park. We've got a location picked out, and are looking forward to implementing that. Thanks to our staff, we're able to do all of these projects with the assistance of hundreds of thousands of dollars of grants that we've won from other organizations. That means that we're leveraging our dollars with other people's and doing our projects as efficiently as possible. And much important, you don't see a lot of it, is that we continue to work with our committees, right? These are our Pinecrest Pioneers, our Youth Advisory Committee, our Education Advisory Committee, our Veterans Day celebrations. One of the most important things in Pinecrest forever has been our schools, right? Because for generations, one of the most attractive features of the place, not only the trees and the large lots, has been the high quality of education, both public and private. And I want to say that we have an honor today to have 2 real Pinecrest heroes in the room with us, people that truly embody the spirit of Pinecrest. We have, both the finalists for the Miami-Dade County Public Schools Teachers of the Year are from the Pinecrest schools. And that's pretty remarkable, and it speaks to a lot of what we are as a community. So I don't know, Mr. Oliver Diaz, he is here. I know many of you know Mr. Diaz. He's well known. He's a finalist for Teacher of the Year. And he's great. We're doing a concert Saturday night, are you? Is there a concert Saturday night? Saturday night. Here. Okay, that's a plug if anybody wants to come. The Teacher of the Year will be helping with a concert there. And I know that many of you may not have been well known to Miss Laura Haim from Pinecrest Elementary. Laura is the finalist for the Rookie Teacher of the Year. And that's impressive. I've heard there's so many great things. I'm going to go back and take math there so I can actually figure out our budget. Right. So thank you guys for being here. We're really proud of it. It's not only great work you've done for Pinecrest, but great work we've done for the community at large, and that's really inspirational to us. One of the things that we should be most proud about as a village is our ability to come together as a community and handle the really difficult problems that impact us, because that's rare. We've done this over and over and over again for nearly a quarter of a century. So whether it's reviewing a development, whether it's dealing with an unforeseen emergency, or having to tackle some of the most controversial issues that face us, that ability to come together really embodies the spirit of Pinecrest. I want to talk about a couple examples. I'll try to be as brief as I can. This year we had a great example. We were working with Temple Beth Am related to their redevelopment. Right? We don't have a lot of developable land left in Pinecrest, and this kind of change, redeveloping a school, is the exact type of change that we need in Pinecrest to maintain our quality of life, attract new people to the community. It's a process that really never stops. In Miami-Dade County, development is always controversial. This one started off no differently. But thanks to an open line of communications between the school, the citizens, the staff, and our village council, we were able to spend several months working on an issue that was very complicated. We had our goal to protect the neighborhood and make sure that they didn't receive any ill effects from the school, but also to allow the school to be successful within the bounds of our zoning code. We were working on that, and everything was going fine, and as they say in the military, no plan survives contact with the enemy. And about 2 weeks before our hearing, an accident happened, and somebody touched an acre of protected land at the periphery of the facility. Of course, all heck breaks loose, and the neighborhood support for the application becomes highly threatened. And then the school was in a time crunch. But again, the people of Pinecrest exceeded all expectations. people who wanted to solve problems, not stoke fires, got together and worked tirelessly for a couple of weeks on mitigation efforts. And as we are known to do in Pinecrest, the hearing went on as scheduled with the absolute full support of the neighbors in cooperation with the school. Now, they're working out some of that peripheral issues now, but those are details, and I believe everything's going to work out just like we had done last year. And again, it doesn't have to be this way. Similar redevelopments in other places have resulted in far less advantageous outcomes. This year we had to come together in another time of crisis. Last year we had the hurricane. This year we had two more things, a little bit more sinister than that, more frightening, that happened that deeply impacted our psyche and our community. The events in Pittsburgh and Parkland remind us that these can be difficult and trying times. But here in Pinecrest, as we said then, an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us, whether it be a hurricane or something worse. I want to assure everybody again that the village stands on high alert to do whatever it takes to ensure our safety and security. And we always get through these things together because we approach them as one community. And just as those incidents were national but meaningful to everybody, in Pinecrest, we're also doing our part to come together on other issues that impact us from beyond our boundaries. We continue the good initiatives working on the resiliency and climate change. This year, Vice Mayor Hochmer was instrumental in working on our prohibitions of plastic straws and styrofoam, as well as working with other organizations like the PACE District in an effort to help make them perform a little bit better. We also do our part to raise continued awareness for the issue. So they say, Guido, if your goals don't both excite you and scare you at the same time, then they're likely not big enough. And this year, we stepped out with our annual art project. This was designed to be a provocative exhibit. We get the community talking about climate change. It was cool, it was edgy, happening in conjunction with Art Basel Miami. We were doing a bunch of things. We're going to paint the streets, and everybody's going to put a sign up to show the elevation of their property, and an exhibit here in Pinecrest Gardens. And from my perspective, this project was a huge success. I've gotten more communication on the issue of climate change in the last few months than I'd received in the previous decade of being in public service. I think we were all shocked by the interest that people had in this program. It was wonderful. But one email said, you guys are doing such a wonderful job raising awareness and consciousness for this issue for us and our children. The other one said, you idiot, check your insurance policy. There's not enough money in it to withstand the lawsuit in which you will be named personally. So, both exciting and scary at the same time. It got people's attention. It was positive yet difficult conversation that we were able to have, and we, at least at this point, have survived so far. One of the most pressing issues we've ever had to deal with is the absence of county water. When we incorporated, Pinecrest inherited a giant hole in our infrastructure, right? After incorporation, we found there was a significant amount of properties that had no access to this, drinking out of well. But I want to be clear. The water system is not Pinecrest. The water system is owned, operated, sometimes maintained by Miami-Dade County. After 2 decades, we've debated this issue. We've made great progress. But the last 2 years, we've continued to work with Miami-Dade County on the completion of their water system. Today, we have more than 700 homes without access to potable drinking water. After long negotiations with the county, we've determined that neither the county nor the state is likely to commit to assisting us with that project in the near term. So this March, we're finally close enough where we can go to the public for a referendum of the voters to ask if they would be willing to finally complete the county's water and fire hydrant system by entering into a bond. I want to thank Council Members Ball and Abbott for working very hard on that issue, bringing them to our attention. After 2 decades, we are nearing a conclusion on that one way or another. Also stemming out of Inspire Pinecrest, we've been considering the undergrounding of all electricity and telecommunication lines. We're ahead of all the hardening efforts happening in the village. We're assisting neighborhoods with undergroundings should they choose to go that way. And for the first time ever, FP&L has scheduled 10 undergrounding projects in Pinecrest, right? They tell me, I don't know if this is true, probably not, but they tell me, because they told me this, it's 20% of the state's undergrounding projects for the year. If that happens to be true, that's a coup for us for the first time ever. But rest assured, there's challenges ahead if we're going to maintain our character and quality of life. Aside from the typical things we've had to deal with, aging parks, fields, signs, facilities, we're dealing with our lack of underground infrastructure. After the water's completed, we've got drainage issues. We've got the need to replace our septic systems with sewer. These are issues that every city in Florida must deal with, but the most responsible are. These are truly projects that are going to take all of our abilities, all of our partnerships with others at the various levels of government if we're going to be successful. On a sad note, it's been over a year since we lost one of our founders, Leslie Bowe. Leslie passed in November of 2017. This spring, we honored him by renaming the community room at Evelyn Greer Park to Leslie Bowe Hall. Unfortunately, this year, we lost another valued member of our community. Gail Sirota was an amazing woman. She passed in a tragic accident just after Thanksgiving. I knew Gail for a long time. Gail was intelligent, full of energy, effort, and caring. She was really a dedicated public servant. She loved Pinecrest. She was involved through the PTAs, through the temple, as a member of our planning board, as a council member, and a candidate for mayor. Gail was really a delight to be around, kind and friendly, a caring mother, a beloved spouse, a brilliant lawyer, and who always conducted herself with class and civility. She's going to be deeply missed as we move forward. Looking back, I want to say that we need to always thank Evelyn Greer and Gary Massner. You all had the wisdom and the courage to lead us through incorporation, to form our initial government, and to lead us as our first two mayors. And that's critical. Leslie, Gail, Barry, Cindy Blank, who's here with us, Bob Hingston, you guys set the standards for us, which we measure ourselves every year. And I hope we're living up to the vision. I texted Mayor Matzner tonight. I found out he couldn't be here, and told him that same thing. It's really important to us that we live up to the vision. To Cindy Lerner, to Jeff Cutler, to Bob Ross, Nancy Harder, thank you for what you've done to get us into place so that we can move on from there. It's been great working with you, and your support now and in the future and in the past is valued. And to our current council, Vice Mayor Hochmer, I love you. You're great. Doug Kraft, Katie Abbott, Jim McDonald, Sherry Ball, thank you. You all are great. Thank your families for allowing you to do this. You're a wonderful team. You're caring. You're fantastic to work with. I can't say enough about you. You're just wonderful people to be partners with. And to the tip of the spear in the front row, our manager, Yoselin Galliano, our clerk, Guido Ingonzo, our attorney, Mitch Bierman, all our department heads, all of our staff. You guys are inspirational because Pinecrest would be nothing without the leadership you provide on a day-to-day basis. I couldn't be more proud to be part of this Pinecrest team. It's absolutely inspirational. So rest assured that going forward, we're going to continue to be focused on the things that got us here. We're going to carry out our responsibilities to provide for an orderly, efficient, and fair operation of government. We're going to assure you that we exercise our rights with dignity, respect, and restraint. And as always, we're going to be working to protect our character and enhance our quality of life. Thank you for being here. God bless you all. It's been a pleasure to serve. Thank you. You're great. Thank you. There's wine in the back.